Hello, my name is Isaac Ramos, and this is my presentation on Unit 16, Human Immunity. In this assignment, I will describe the first, second, and third lines of immune defense, including examples. I will explain self-recognition and tolerance. I will describe specific immune disorders. I aim to discuss the categories of acquired immunity, including natural, artificial, passive, and active. I will explain immune response to vaccination, including immunology memory. I will discuss the concept of herd immunity, vaccination programs, and factors affecting vaccine update. This is complete with an evaluation of the benefits of vaccination. So, you're probably asking, what is human immunity? Well, according to Better Health Channel, the immune system is a complex network of organ cells and protein that defends the body against infections while protecting the body's own cells. The immune system includes immune cells and protein that work in synergy to protect the body against foreign invaders and harmful toxic materials from the environment, i.e., bacteria, fungi, viruses. The immune system is composed of cells and organs. They work in unison to protect the body from germs and aid to recover from illnesses. The main component of the immune systems are the white blood cells, antibodies, complement system, lymphatic system, spleen, bone marrow, and thymus. The white blood cells are a key part of the immune system. They are made in the bone marrow and are part of the lymphatic system. They work by moving through the blood and the tissue all over the body. Um, they they are in search of parasites and foreign invaders, and once they find them, they launch an immune attack. White blood cells include um, many immune cells and lymphocytes, such as B cells and T cells. Antibodies aid the body to fight microbes or toxins. Um, they recognize antigens on the surface of the microbes or the chemicals they produce and mark them as being foreign and identifies them for destruction. There are many cells, proteins, and chemicals involved in the attack. The lymphatic system is a network of delicate tubes which run through the body. They are made up of lymph nodes that trap microbes, lymph vessels, which are tubes that bathe the body tissue and contains infection-fighting white blood cells. The spleen is in charge of filtering the blood, and it extracts microbes and eliminates old, damaged red blood cells. It also creates antibodies. So the first line of defense has two categories, which are physical and mechanical barriers and non-specific resistance. The physical barriers include the skin, mucus, in the digestive and respiratory tracts, which aid in eliminations of pathogens and prevents tissue or blood infections. Sweat, saliva, tears, and mucus provide a basic barrier against evading pathogens. The skin provides a physical slash mechanical barrier which prevents the body against pathogens. Viruses, fungi, bacteria, parasites, which can cause things such as colds, flus, meningitis, and HIV, and other serious illnesses and diseases. The body has various defenses to try and protect itself from becoming seriously ill. These pathogens can be passed from person to person by way of touching, affected surfaces. The first and largest barrier is the skin, which blocks the pathogens. There are four main physiological barriers, which are diarrhea, vomiting, coughing, and sneezing. There are two main chemical barriers to infections, which are microenvironmental, which the pH, so low pH level in certain parts of the body helps to prevent pathogen growths. The skin pH level should be around 5.5, gastric acid 1 to 3, and the vagina's pH has to be around 4.4. In these hostile environments, pathogens struggle to develop and thrive, especially with gastric acid, which can kill microorganisms by denaturing their protein. There are serious antimicrobial molecules throughout the body which aid in destruction of pathogens, i.e., the IgA in tears, saliva, and mucous membrane. So the second line of defense, also known as the non-specific line of defense, is whereby pathogens which make it past the first defense are met with this level of defense, consisting of cells, proteins which attack invaders. They non-specifically recognize and eliminate any pathogens which enters the body, which means anything that comes in the body that's foreign. It could be sperm, it could be even just anything. They just attack. They don't discriminate. Um, Phagocytis is the process whereby invaders are destroyed. This is a crucial part of the innate immune system, which utilizes phagocytes. There are two types of phagocytes called macrophagus. I'm butchering these words. I'm so sorry. And neutrophilus found in tissues and blood. First, the phagocyte recognizes and binds pathogens, then it uses plasma membrane to surround and engulf the pathogen inside the cell, resulting in a separate internal compartment known as the phagosome being created. Subsequently, fusing another type of cellular compartment called the lysome. The digestive system inside the lysome destroys the pathogens by breaking it down into fragments. Macrophages, I'm so sorry, raise alarms by producing proteins and cytokines which recruit other kinds of white blood cells. These are called neutrophils, which make up 40 70 to 70% of the white blood cells. They engulf and destroy. Eosinophils make up less than 5%, and basophils, I'm so sorry. I'm not good at pronouncing things, as they contain toxins. Their job is to kill pathogens which are too large to be engulfed. They also release protein substances involved in causing inflammation, redness, and swelling at the site of infection. So that's why when you get an infection, you might have like redness and yeah. For pathogens to be digested, phagosome produces ingestible materials and antigen fragments, which remove the indigestible materials by exocytosis. Sorry about that. Antigenic fragments are, however, displayed on the surface of the phagocytes, which subsequently recognize and destroy cytotoxic T cells. Thank you. So the third response, known as the specific adaptive response, is whereby the B cells encounter known antigens and they engulf and digest the antigen. Then the MHC bounds antigens fragments onto the B cell surface. This combination of antigen, MHC, further activates T cells, causing them to secrete cytokines, which triggers the growth and maturation of antigens, presenting B cells into antibody producing B cell plasma cells. Plasma cells which produced antibodies are secreted into the bloodstream, where they carry out their various functions. Antigen antibodies can raise alarm and activate protein which would kill pathogens by rupturing their cell membrane. Complement proteins triggers our inflammatory response, which lead to the accumulation of white blood cells at the site of infection. If it is a cell-mediated immunity, T cells are activated when they encounter antigen-presenting cells. So, self-recognition and tolerance. According to the GenScript, um, self-tolerance is the ability of the immune system to recognize self-produced antigens as a non-threat while appropriately mounting a response to foreign substances. This balance of immunological defense and self-tolerance is critical to normal physiological function and overall health. Self-tolerance mechanisms play roles in cancer, autoimmune disease, and colonization by commensal bacteria and pregnancy. So it's essentially it is the body's way of recognizing that things that are not threats. So for example, sperm is not a threat to the body. It just leads maybe to pregnancy or maybe not. But instead of the body to it's a way of the body not to attack every single sperm cell, for example. Otherwise, the human race will not continue if it kills every single sperm cells and things like that. So, hypersensitivity is the reaction whereby the immune system mistakenly identifies harmless substances as harmful. Um, and it can sort of trigger various types of reactions, from allergic reactions, which can be caused from things like shellfish and rats, latex, dusts. Um, it can be, it can, it can, hypersensitivity can cause healthy cells to die in response to antigens, which can cause long-term damage to cells and tissues, resulting in various problems such as thrombocytopenia, autoimmune hematologic and anemia and Graves' disease. There are just various types of issues that can arise from hypersensitivity to antigens. The antigens and antibodies form um, uh, so rejection of transplanted organs when the body doesn't induce an immune response against its own against the body's own tissue. This is known as tolerance. When an organ transplant is carried out, the body may sometimes recognize it as a foreign object, therefore attempting to attack and destroy it. That's the work of T cells. This immune response is what causes transplants to be rejected. To avoid this, immunosuppressive drugs such as tacrolimus, sirolimus, or azathioprine are administered to prevent the body from attacking um, new organs. So, immune cells all have immunoglobulins that have the same basic kinds of constant domains in the H chains, which are believed to belong to the same class. There are five main classes, which are IgG, IgM, IgA, and IgE. Each classes has its own properties and functions, which is determined by the structural variation of the H chains. The IgG is the most common hemoglobin, which is, I guess, present mostly in the blood and tissue fluids. Each IgG molecule is made up of four chains, hemoglobin structure, two identical H chains and two identical L chains, either kappa or lambda. So it carries out two identical antigen binding sites. There are four subclasses um, which has different H chains, difference in H chains, all have their own biological properties. The IgG is the only class of hemoglobin capable of crossing the placenta and uh, capable allowing for some level of immune protection developing in the fetus. IgM is the first class of hemoglobin created by B cells. While they mature, it's mostly found in antigen receptors on B cell surfaces. What is an autoimmune disease? Well, according to Cleveland Health 2021, an autoimmune disease is the result of the immune system accidentally attacking your body instead of protecting it. Scientists don't know what the cause is behind it. There are at least 100 known autoimmune diseases, including lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, multiple sclerosis, Addison's disease, etc. Addison's disease affects the adrenal gland, which is responsible for producing cortisol and androgen hormones. Some with this condition may experience decreased blood pressure, muscle weakness and fatigue, fainting and nausea. Um, there are various. Crohn's disease is an autoimmune disease also, which affects the GI tract. Crohn's disease mostly happens in the small intestine and colon. It can affect any type of the gastrointestinal tract. Active immunity is whereby the body acquires immunity by being directly faced or attacked, and it learns to build immunity against it. Artificial can be stimulated by vaccines. Passive immunity is given to someone who hasn't had their own, so for example, a mother to her newborn baby. What is vaccination? Vaccination is a simple, safe, and effective way of protecting you against harmful disease before you come into contact with them. It uses the body's natural defenses to build resistance to specific disease infections and makes your immune system stronger. Vaccines train your immune system to create antibodies just as it does when it's exposed to the disease. So essentially, it introduces the body to the disease without you getting sick. Herd immunity occurs when a big portion of the population or the herd gains immunity to a disease, measles, chickenpox, or even COVID-19. This means that disease is spread from individuals um, and it becomes significantly reduced or seized when the herd immunity is achieved. This is great as it means that the population as a whole has become protected and not just people who are immune. Vaccination programs are a vital part of modern health services. They are strategic systems used to ensure a great amount of the population are vaccinated against a particular disease or antigen. Vaccination programs are utilized to gain full protection for not just the individual but the community at large. The NHS is in charge of the vaccination programs in the UK, and they offer scheduled vaccinations, especially for young children. So there are many factors which affect vaccine updates, such as accessibility. So if people cannot reach where they're supposed to get vaccinated, the age. So studies show that the older generation are more likely to get vaccinated just because I guess they have that doctor's always right. The BAME community are least likely. It might also come down to trust because there's been many experiments and things done to especially the black community, which has gained like a huge mistrust in the healthcare system. So vaccines are effective in protecting the community from pandemics and epidemics. They can keep most safe and healthy. However, they may cause varying side effects such as sore arms, disabilities, or deaths.